All right, hey everybody. Welcome back to Immortals Inc. podcast. We're back after our little winter break of holidays, and I just got lazy and didn't want to do it. And we're going to talk to you. I'm Carlos Robles, Immortals Inc. podcast, the owner of the store, one of the owners of the store. And we're here to talk about our usual stuff. Today, I have Nate Elwood.
How you doing?
As always, with us here today again. I have, what else do we have? I totally forgot what I was going to do. Oh,
what we're doing tonight?
We're going to talk about Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Yes.
Where's the camera at now? I lost it.
This is the newest edition.
This is the newest edition. We'll talk about that, but we're going to talk about that today. Nate's, of course, you've played that, of course, right?
Not the new one.
The old ones.
Talking about the
but
old
you have
ones,
the plays. Yeah. But in the meantime, just wanted to go over some stuff. Our usual beginning of how we're going to do things and what's going on. We've had a lot of changes, a lot of stuff going on. I'll start out with some Card Fight Vanguard, newest stuff out. The Answer of Truth. It's a booster pack. I still don't know anything about this game. They show up on Monday nights. They start to show up on Sundays. They start to show up on Tuesdays.
To me, it's all Magic. The game.
This is not. This is definitely not Magic. Oh god, that's like heresy.
This
is like kind of a Pokemon with an anime spin, or Magic mix with Pokemon and anime, and it's. No, there's no Pokemon about it? All right, so Josh. Yeah. So one day we'll do a podcast. We'll do a whole thing about it and figure out what's going on. But
it's totally out of my wheelhouse.
Scary, but they love it, and the artwork's cool, and sells good. So if you want to learn, come back on a Monday night. What else we got going on?
There's quite a few people here that play card games, so I'm sure you can find a game for whatever you want to play.
And a card game, of course, is Ravnica Allegiance is out this Friday, tomorrow. So Friday the 25th. We just had the pre-release weekend in our snowstorm, and half Saturday and Sunday we had to close, and then Monday we were late. So it really took a bite out of our release. But starting tomorrow, you can purchase it all. We got the starter decks. We have booster boxes. We still have stuff to do the buy box promos. Are those still good? Yeah, we still have the buy box promos and everything with it. So come on in.
So if you buy one of these Planeswalker decks, is this everything you need to start to
basically just start to play? Yeah, no problem.
So
there's two booster packs.
You can make a complete deck out of this.
I don't know anything about these decks, but they're competitive, at best. I mean, if you play somebody who knows what they're doing, obviously they're going to beat you. They're not competitive? They're just complete? All right, it's a complete deck, so it's not competitive.
I'm not quite sure what the difference is.
Yeah, if you have two friends, it's casual. Casual
it's
play
a casual
with it? Yeah, okay, casual.
Right,
it's got two booster backs you can add up and go from there. I'm sure you'll like that. They re-released that.
Ooh, The Fury of Dracula. Fantastic. WizKids. Games Workshop coming together.
So this has been re-released. I think it was waiting. I'm sure it's up to date. I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure I will. This is 8 years after the events in the book. Dracula snuck back into Europe, and he's trying to populate the area with his little minions. And you, as they put on the back here, some God-fearing folk, try to stop him. So that's the age. One player plays Dracula. The other ones play God-fearing folk. I don't even know if Van Helsing's in here or not. Anything,
but if he isn't.
It's right on the back here. Oh yeah, it is right here, Van Helsing. So,
The Hunters.
If you know, if you've played this before, it's a classic game. So they just
it's a blast to play. One of those that you can just have a few friends sit down. It's not terribly complicated. At least the older version.
I'm sure they simplified it. Huh?
Like Dead of Winter? Or?
Dead of Winter? No, it's one guy's Dracula, and the rest are just trying to stop it. So you have one player that's the bad guy. So it would be, I guess, the DM running the story.
I have that Dead of Winter too.
Dead of Winter?
Secret,
No, there's no secret here. It's you're the bad guy.
Yes.
You're the bad guy.
You're opposing me, and I'm going after you.
Yeah. From Modiphius Entertainment comes Star Trek Adventure Starter Kit. Wow. Same guys who did Vampire. So, don't know much about it, but it's Star Trek. So, it is not a trap to get the Trekkies in here. No, this is a real game. We've actually had the core rule book and stuff. There's some other Star Trek stuff. We don't do too much of the WizKid miniature games, like the Hero Clicks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't keep up on it. I'm not that smart or bright or really into it. And
I love that it comes in a box. That's so nostalgic for me.
Yeah, the boxes. Yeah. Looks like I don't know anything about the system, but we have it. Star Trek. You want to do it? I like Star Trek in a way that it's kind of technical.
Oh.
It's like Star Wars is just open Wild West thing.
Right.
This is very military like, and it could be, and
See, Star Trek always holds a place for me because when I was growing up, my dad worked a lot, but on Saturdays there was Star Trek, the original, and Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then Doctor Who on channel. I think it was 43.
listen to that.
And we would watch. That was one of the few times I could actually sit with my dad for 3 hours at a time and actually. So I would watch Star Trek, and I used to love the old ones, even though they were really, really dated. And then the Next Generation was always cool, but Doctor Who I was always like, what?
Which Doctor Who is it? Because the Doctor Who for me is the one with the scarf.
Yeah.
Which number is that? The curly hair.
From the 60s and stuff.
Yeah, that's the only.
60s and 70s.
That's the only
that
Doctor
we
Who I
watched.
know. Exterminate, and that's it. Let's go.
The plunger hands and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only ones I care to know, and I don't want to know.
Star Trek is like fake real.
Fake real.
Fake. Like Star Wars is fake.
Yeah, that's a good. Josh is saying like Star Trek is fake real. Like it tries to have some
Right.
science in there, and
A lot of science, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of science.
Yeah.
and Star Trek or Star Wars does not.
Star
It's
Trek
just-
also tries to point, like Gene Roddenberry was quite a visionary, and he always tried to put in a lot of his ideas on social justice, and equality, and all that. I mean, there's a lot more meaning to it. But if you're just watching Star Trek just to see story, it's got plenty of that.
Yeah, that's my. Well, that's a whole other thing about Star Trek and that. So, but that's just my opinion. So,
Star Wars is space opera.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, that is fake real.
fake real.
It's a very good oxymoron for me.
And this just came out too. It's called Talisman: Legendary Tales. It's based on the Talisman's game from Games Workshop way back when. I think this is a quicker, faster, smaller version of the game.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Don't know anything about it, but if you go to many of our websites and or go to our Facebook page, you can catch Flavor Text. They demoed this already.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we have the copies for sale, and then they have the special limited Druid Extra. We have that to give away too. Those are limited. So,
And looking
yeah.
at the side here, it says 20 to 40 minutes. So it's
Yeah, oh yeah, it's not
yeah.
the talisman of like, all right, let's clear the
20 to
schedule
40
for a
years.
day.
I think I've never finished the Talisman game ever.
Well, we did that one day with Chris from
Not in one
Warzone.
sitting.
Yeah,
Not
when
one
Chris
sitting.
came in and he from Warzone, he played a game with us of Talisman.
Yeah.
And then we were supposed to be playing for Pink Slips for the shop, but he brought in a ringer and cheated, so I called it off. So if he's listening, you cheated. But
The Talisman's one of those games where like it's like Monopoly on steroids. Like you could, I've had
It's-
games where we've put it away for like kept the board out and everything for a week and then came back the next weekend and still played.
well, that's great with the new tables that people sell, the fancy gaming tables where it
Yeah.
drops down, which
Oh, that's nice.
remind me at the end. I'm going to talk about that too. The gaming table, not that.
The table of ultimate gaming type stuff.
Yeah, where it's
Okay.
just fancy made and everything like that. But yeah, remind me at the end. I'm going to talk about some other stuff. But yeah, it's cool stuff going on around here. A lot of stuff in the winter break.
Yes,
But,
come on into Immortals.
all right, but let me get over here to Nate, and he can talk about Warhammer Fantasy Role Playing. This is based on the Games Workshop World of Fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy World, not the sci-fi Space Marine.
Not the 40K.
No, not
this
the
is-
40K. This is we're all stuck on one planet. Let's kill each other. Let's go.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
All right, so Warhammer originally came out, I think, in 1980.
Excuse me.
I think it was like 1986 when the first Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game came out, and like this was before Games Workshop really. They were still making miniatures and making their fantasy battle games, but they were really, because back then it really was more role playing than it was miniatures. They wanted to make miniatures for the role playing game. When they realized people weren't buying enough miniatures, that's when they're like, all right, we're gonna focus in on our fantasy battle, but we're gonna have this role playing game that people like to play too. And it was around for a little while, and they eventually were like, all right, it's not selling well enough. Let's just give up the license. So in the early 90s, a great guy, if you're listening, Mr. Wallace, thank you so much for bringing it back. But
Who?
Hogs Head Publishing,
Oh.
James Wallace was
Yep.
the guy's name. Very good guy. He
He made a lot of weird,
He-
oddball stuff too.
well,
He did.
I'm not trying to badmouth anything.
No, I'm not
It's
bad mouth
not
about it.
but-
It's just weird stuff.
Well, here's the problem. even though he had the license, Games Workshop had complete control over anything intellectual. So he would go to them and be like, hey, you don't have anything about Lustria, which is, if you don't know the game, it's like, think of it as South America. I want to write a supplement because it's really hard to have a role-playing game without supplements. And they're like, no, we don't want you to write that. All right, well, what about dwarves? No, we don't want you to write Skaven. No, we don't want you to write that.
Well, you know.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, he kept it alive. He re-released a lot of probably an iconic campaign, one of the best campaigns I think ever written, which is The Enemy Within.
Yes.
It is one of the best campaigns, hands down, that has ever been written for any game. It is a blast to go through. One of those, when you get done with it, it takes many, many, many years. I think me and my friends started it in 1994, and we finished it in 2001. So it was, it's an excellent, excellent campaign. What's nice about Warhammer, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, and if you like Call of Cthulhu, think of Warhammer as Dungeons and Dragons with Call of Cthulhu in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff. It's just there's no winning.
It is deadly. It is dark, dirty, grim world of perilous adventure. I think sums it up the best, like it says on the front of the book.
Yeah, it was never meant to be like happy, or there's a happy
high
ending,
heroic fantasy.
Yeah, this is just, hey, can we survive another day? And who knows? You know, maybe we'll. Chaos is always the worst part of that mess. And
yes,
chaos just ruins everything.
I mean, there's so much
like
background
in life.
to it. Yeah. Well, there's so much background to it. That's why it has such a great following. It has all of the flavor of Warhammer, not the Age of Sigmar for the newer folks, but the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Yeah, I guess we should make that difference. This is definitely. Well, I don't know about this one.
I have.
You're gonna have to look at that one.
I'm gonna have to look
but the old one's definitely not Age of Sigmar.
This is the one from the 90s, and when I first got this book, it was still your role-playing choices were Dungeons and Dragons and kind of Shadowrun. Those were the two really big ones, and maybe West End games, Star Wars. But D&D was the king of all role-playing games at that time, in the very early 90s. GURPS maybe up there too. This game, though, opened my eyes to a lot of cool ideas about what a fantasy can be, how it doesn't have to be heroic and wizards and all that. The biggest problem with this game was mechanics, and I think that had a lot to do with GW, because they said everything about this game has to coincide with how we do Warhammer Fantasy Battle, which shackled a lot of great ideas, unfortunately. So, after a while, this kind of petered out. It's hard to create supplements when they say no to everything, and it's hard to have new content and new ideas when they say it all has to fit within this.
You know, and not to badmouth GW, but they are protecting what's theirs,
right?
You know,
I get that,
and I get it, and you know, and I understand that. Like, this was an extra thing they did on top of their games. Right. And how many different versions have they released? I know this is the
fourth edition.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the first edition.
Can I see that?
Yeah, came out.
Do you want this?
That thing has been around the world with me, my friend.
Oh, look at this.
Not to take anything away from the first edition game.
I always love the pictures because it looks like it's just sketched on somebody's back of their school tablet. Hey, look what I got. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's unique about how you create a character, how you go through careers and everything. There's no classes like D&D has or anything. It's got a lot of flavor to it. The biggest downfall is how magic works in it, and it was a complex game that has so much flavor that you love it, and at the same time you hate because of the weird, like if you have somebody who goes as, let's say, a fighter class, and if somebody goes as a wizard, the same adventures, the same amount of experience, a wizard can now cast one spell that you need a dragon's heart to cast, whereas the fighter can take on a demon prince without a problem, you know. So it was really hard to, that was what I meant by when they're like, we need to fix this, and they're like, no, it has to stay with the way our fantasy battle game works, instead of saying, okay, we'll push this off to the side and you do what you want with it, and it's going to be separate.
Yeah, I think they wanted to.
That's why.
Oh, go ahead.
This one came out, the second edition, this is my favorite edition of it, although I haven't seen the fourth yet. This is beautiful. I love this game. I have every single book from this edition.
When did that come out?
This one, I think, was 2000 and I want to say 2004, but let me make sure. 2005, excuse me. So this came out in 2005. Unlike with the first edition where they had The Enemy Within, which was fantastic campaign. And if any of you are into Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay or looking to get into it, there's a great website called Mad Alfred, Alfred's. It's Alfred Nunez Jr. He made a lot of the really cool stuff for the first edition and second. Check it out. It'll give you a lot of the flavor and some great jumping springboards for adventures. When this came out by Green Ronin and Black Industries, they were able to finally do what the first edition wanted to do, which is say to Games Workshop, look, you have your Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Nobody is going to confuse the two. Let us do what we need to make this successful. And at that time, G-Dub was like, okay, let's see what you do. So
and that was what, 2005?
2005.
I'm trying to think where GW was at that point.
I think they were in their phase of the old school mentality of, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But sales started to go down, and that's when like HeroClix was coming out and all these other things. That was
they were attacking their market. Right. Yeah.
So you have the second edition that comes out. They fixed Magic. They made a ton of great, some of them not so great, but most of them are really, really good supplements. And you could tell that the people who wrote for it loved the game. It was more than just, this is a paycheck, even though it was. They loved what they were writing about. Chris Paramus did some great work for the first edition. He did even better work for this edition. Their major campaign was the Pass of the Damned, which I put my group through. Personally, I had to edit it a lot, but the basic premise of it.
Why'd you have to edit it? Just
well, it's 3 different writers, so it doesn't have a whole lot of coherency.
Flow. Okay.
And sometimes you some of the stuff just doesn't make sense. You can tell why they threw it in there to like show a mechanic or to kind of focus on.
Was it a low level adventure then? Or?
It starts as a low level.
So then, it might have been to teach.
But this is a deadly game. Like, what's great about these games is combat wise. You don't really have hit points. You get hit with stuff, and hopefully your armor can save it. And if not, well, there's a good chance you'll lose an arm or bleed out, or you have.
It's probably
one of the greatest mechanics. Is it
like the 40K games where once you fail to save, you're done? Their armor saved?
Not totally. Like you do have hit points in a way, but once you reach 0, and it doesn't take much to reach 0, one lucky hit or something like that will do.
It's not like
you go into what's called a critical hit chart, and then you have all these myriad of fun things that can happen, and it's fun too.
They're all bad.
The characters, it's
not like,
the characters are all rolling on critical hits too against their enemies. So decapitations or severing an arm, and the characters can go insane. It's a whole lot of fun. I mean, there's no other way to put. This is a fun game.
I do miss that from like D&D.
Oh yeah,
because that's more fun. Well, it's fun to a point, but it's also not conducive to like extended campaigns.
Yes.
Like Josh, would you play D&D a lot if your character died all the time?
I don't know.
Probably not.
There's games where you.
I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, and you got a different system to try, but
there's games where it's character focused and you want the characters to survive. Like Vampire the Masquerade or a lot of the story driven games. You can't just have a character just die off. With Warhammer Fantasy, you still get pretty attached. It's amazing how attached you can really get to characters and try to go through their career choices and everything, but they do die. There's no. You have what's called fate points that can mitigate to a degree them dying, but after a while, everyone runs out of fate. I mean, it just.
Okay.
You do eventually get crippled or maimed, and it's time to. But it's a great story too. You have a guy for.
Can you pick up where you can get another character to pick up?
A lot of times. A lot of times, even in many of the longer campaigns, they actually write into them pickup characters for like that are going to be at about the same level as the players have been in already, and they bring them in logical ways too. It's not just like you're at a bar and this guy goes, "Hey, I want to."
No, that is the only way. I mean,
or you can even have the
doesn't
new
when your
player,
sink break at home, you open your closet and there's a guy in there just
all the time. Hey, I'll come to work with you. Yeah.
Sorry again for the cough.
But the mechanics wise, it's percentile dice, magic for the. I'm not even going to go into the first edition magic. Second edition magic went well. You had 3 dice to roll. One of them was a cursed die. You could have bad stuff happen to you because you're using magic is using chaos.
In this world, magic's never good.
Right. If you're familiar with any Games Workshop,
it comes
Warhammer, fill in the blank. It's the same setting.
Yeah, it's. Magic is it always comes from chaos or somewhere else it's bad. So even if
Unless
you use
it's
it,
divine magic, but even then you can.
Even they're finicky.
Yes.
So there's never anything good. And it's terrible. But
There was a third edition.
it came in a bunch of boxes.
Yes, I did not pick up any of the third edition. I like Fantasy Flight. They're a great board game company. They are not a role-playing game company. I toyed with the idea of getting the box set, and then I read some reviews. I read reviews from people who are board gamers, and they're like, I like this. I get all these cool new dice, and I get these new pools and these cards, and I looked at it, and I wanted to throw up.
It's beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
I kind of knew it was in trouble because I thought about it, and it was a really high price point to begin with for the starter.
Yeah, it was over $100.
Yeah, it was over $100 just to get the starter box before you can start playing. So it's like, I thought about getting it just to have it, but then even that was like, and then like you said, it looked nice, but
I couldn't even justify. Like,
They're not-
it
they're not
doesn't take much for me to like cave in and be like, all right, I'll pick up some extra side work and I'll get this box set. No, this one I'm like, no way. There is no way I'm gonna spend this much money for something I will never. If there's people out there who like it, this is just my opinion. All right, my opinion. If you like it, you have your reasons for it. Awesome.
They're wrong.
Love it.
They're wrong.
Love
No,
it.
I'm kidding.
But to be honest, it felt like when I was reading it, it felt like we're going to try to make this into a board game as opposed to a role-playing game. We're going to have you roll tons of different dice. You get cool new dice that you can add in for different stuff. It's like it became a dice game and a board game, and that's to me isn't a role.
Well, they are the board game guys.
Right.
I mean,
they
should.
Make awesome
I think
board games.
I think they try to.
Right.
They've tried their hand at a few role playing games, and they've all not.
Hey, I'm a great plumber. Don't ask me to do electricity.
Yeah.
So
don't ask me to do a lot. I got a couple things I could do.
You stick to what you're good at, and I think it was only around for a little while. They did like 4 supplements, and they're like, now this line is complete. We're done.
Yeah.
And I think it was mainly because like they got a lot of flack from all these people who are like, what are you doing to my game?
They took. I know when it was on sale, they was on sale like hard too.
Yeah.
Because I know Fantasy Flight, if anybody doesn't know that, but if Fantasy Flight does a winter sale, which is terrific, because you go to their site and everything's like 80-70% off. They blew that stuff out. And I was trying to I couldn't even get on there fast enough to get like just the core stuff, and it was gone. So it was that cheap. So to have it.
I will quote a friend. He'll remain nameless, but my friend who did purchase it and tried to learn it and tried to run it once described it as such. It's like a turd with human hair on it, lit on fire. Oh. And I'll leave it there.
You know what's funny though? Some reason that will be collectible.
Oh yeah.
Because nobody will have it or nobody will want it. Nobody wanted it. 10 guys probably have all the copies, and all of a sudden somebody who just wants it for nostalgia reasons or to display or have the 1, 2. All right, I need the third one to get the.
Yeah.
And there you are.
You always have the one who wants to make the complete set of whatever.
$200 later. Yeah. There you are.
I'll go buy it. But even with the second edition books, unfortunately now, trying to find some of them.
Yeah, those are harder to find too.
I paid more money than I care to save for a couple of them just to complete the series. It's like they published them; they were $30, and then a year later, they're like, "Oh well, we're not going to publish them anymore. They're $260."
It's funny you were bringing up the Enemy Within.
Mm-hmm.
You could they were giving those things away at one point.
Yeah,
and now the price is up there. I'm like, why did that go up? And that's why it's
my copy of Death on the Reich, I think was.
And I love the art.
$70.
The art off those books too. That artist Blanche,
mm-hmm.
He did a lot of art for that stuff too.
He put out his own book of just Warhammer art too.
No, it's Spike.
Rat Spike.
Rat Spike. I got it. I have that. I own that because I'm that bad.
Well, my one friend Chris, in the late '90s, when we were 17, we were on the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay mailing list, which was the old. This is aging us, but the
Mail.
America Online, you would have a mailing list where they would send it out and it would come in your mail. Well, one time it said Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and then it said Hogshead Publishing needs booth person for Gen Con. So we're like, hey, we'll go out there and do that. So he got onto there to work in the booth. I just came along for the ride to play games all weekend and got to meet these gentlemen. They're, like I said, they were all great guys, but the fantasy roleplay community, even then, the guys who played Warhammer, you could tell, like they were, you know what I'm saying? Like these were the older guys who have been playing since 1980. I mean, we were 17 at the time, and these guys were all in their 30s and 40s and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's great that you're into this and everything. It's like, it was kind of like almost like they found like the sons they never had or something. You know, like you're into this too. Like and you're
Nobody likes us.
You were born after 1950. All right. So
sad.
But when the second edition came out, I think it did bring a lot of people who were maybe D20 people kind of into the fold because it did do pretty well.
Yeah, they wouldn't keep making it if nobody was buying it. I
Right.
mean, there's very few products there are that do that.
Right.
So, so anyway, this last edition, I'm going to let you read it. This is
not on the air, I hope. But
no, we're going to sit here while you read now. This is from Cubicle 7, which is big into role playing. They've done a lot of other. They Doctor Who. I know they've done.
This isn't their first rodeo.
No. They're into role playing. So we're going to give you a read on this. Then you can come back and tell us all about it. But we are going to have this available. What is this thing going for? $60?
Yeah.
Yeah, $59.99.
Now I've read things online about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, and they said that they were very clear without being mean or cruel or anything. Like this is not a reboot of third edition. This is definitely geared more towards the first and second editions in flavor, in mechanics, in all of the things that you loved about Warhammer. This is bringing it back.
All right.
So it will be interesting to see what this new edition has.
Yeah, I wish you would have read it before we got here, but we could do another one on this.
Oh,
yeah, you've been,
like you said, holidays and all the other stuff.
everything going on, and me trying to.
We'll just
choke several
keep you in
people around.
suspense until next time.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
So
Which
if you want to
is-
know about it, tune back in.
So you read this by tomorrow, right? You're. It's
Sure.
only. It's.
Tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, 8:00. I'm gonna go eat some Chipotle, and you can tell me afterward. 340 pages. Come on. Ooh.
It's gorgeous, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's old school map in the back here. Well, I want the map.
Have you ever played Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay?
No.
Oh my
I don't have time for those games. No, I'm kidding.
I might have to hijack your gaming group again for one night.
All right, yeah, we do. Damn, that's what we're here. That's what we're here for. You know, whenever you want to come in and do that, because I'm a terrible DM, as they tell me.
That's what I've heard.
So anyway, yeah, this is here. If we don't have it, we can get it. Right now, I think you're going to take our last copy.
All right.
So if you need it, I'll probably get another copy. If you need it, if you want a special order, we still do the discounts on special orders. Just come on in and ask. And Josh, that was our 2-minute warning there on that. So let me give you the spiel. Thanks for coming in and talking about Warhammer. Thanks
love
for
talking games
Thanks for
anytime.
this.
Nice try. Nice try.
Do that every time.
One day I will have the collection. I'm going to tell your daughter, hey, your dad said I could have this. Yeah.
Give you a candy bar.
Yeah. There's a Snickers in there for you.
No, she knows better. I hope.
Well, many things, I don't know if you got to notice or anybody's been watching, but we have a lot of things going on now. We have our Patreon still up. You can donate $1, $5, $10. We have different levels.
$100, whatever.
Yeah, well, no, come on.
Pocket change.
Let's be real. I'm being realistic, $1. And we use that to improve our studios, our streams, and get us new stuff. Like, well, we didn't use this. Did you see this new mic and fancy setup I have? You don't have it. I do. This was all a Christmas gift, but it sounds a lot better. I think if people let me know if it sounds any good. Or
Yeah, that's a good. Find out before you commit to another one. Be like, hey, does this thing actually sound better?
Yeah,
on mine?
it sounds already really nice. I'm going to be taking this off. This is mine. I don't want anybody spitting all over it. But we have the Patreon going on. Just go for Immortals Inc. We have some special exclusives. Some Josh is still working on stuff where members will have more stuff. New thing we're coming out with. We just started and it's really popular. After one day, is the paint competition. Did you hear about that?
I did. I'm actually excited about it. I'm gonna submit a model, I think.
Right now, it starts February 1st. It will end the week of March 16th.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time. The rules are 60. It's a GW product, 60 millimeter base or less. Entry is $1 if you buy the miniature here, or have bought the miniature. If you're a regular and you come in, I bought this. Yeah, it's $1. If you bring an outside miniature, like you bought it somewhere else, it's $5 entry. First place will be a $30 credit here, and you'll be featured on our stream. Second place is $20. Third place is $10. And the customers will put up a vote for who has the best. We'll display them for a week.
Fantastic.
Customers and Josh will handle the voting. There won't
I
be
take bribes.
I take bribes. I mean, I don't know who won, but This guy just gave me some money. No, kidding.
How many times can I vote again?
Yeah, one time.
No, it does look exciting.
Yeah, you got to come in and check it out.
Page, I'm like, this should be.
Yeah, we got a pretty good response about it. And
it's not like we paint out an entire army. It's just
grab
just a miniature.
I am going to paint. I'm going to attempt to paint the. I got the Lord of the Rings box set.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to attempt to paint the Nazgul with the writer. So
nice. Oh wow, that's
it should win.
Ambitious.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Hint.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
It's all black. How can I screw that up?
Well, that's a big model, though. It's a big model.
It's at night. So we got that going on. But yeah, come on in. If you need the rules, contact Josh. Josh, I guess you got contacted by a bunch of people with 1,000 questions. So we're going to take this simple. And if this takes off, well, we'll do advanced, beginners.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. We got time. Got nothing going on. Actually, we have a lot going on. As far as our streams going, Josh has been going crazy with streams. He's really working hard at this, using every available asset he has. Katie Paints is taking off. She now does Tuesday and Thursdays. She does painting. Next week, she's starting to paint. She's going to do the whole Black Fortress box set.
Oh, nice.
So that should be pretty good.
And she does great work, too.
Oh,
You think it'd be almost boring watching somebody else paint something, but the way she talks and everything, how she gives her tips while she's doing it. Mm-hmm. It reminds me almost of Bob Ross. That's honestly, it's not like it's not riveting, but it's like, wow, that's a really good idea.
Anytime anyone subscribes, though, Bob Ross is gonna pop up.
It's a happy little mistake. Don't worry about it.
You made a happy little mistake on that ogre. We'll just smash it with a hammer. So then, and also she's gonna. Josh is working on a special speed painting contest. Her and another painter are gonna go paint the same miniature live, right? And see who comes out better. Oh. Which will be our girl will. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Josh always has some special guest painters lined up, so everyone randomly he'll just have somebody come in and do some painting for us. We're working on with another guy. He does a lot of. He just started bringing it in, but apparently he's bored. But he's got a lot of terrain that he does, like terrain building.
Yes.
And we're gonna have him do a feature on us. It's just
right.
His is quick and fast and make it fancy. Doesn't even have to be like.
Is he the one with the new green basilica for the 40K stuff out there and the orb stuff? And, yeah,
that's him.
This is some fun.
Yeah, he did a bar.
Taking our stuff, just repainting it and rebuilding it.
Because we get a lot of stuff and it's like just plain or just he's adding color and features and.
I'm just gonna spray paint this black and dry brush it.
Yeah, that's what we have is like just plain old stuff. He touches it up.
Well, it's hard because it's at a shop and 6 billion people are going to touch it. So
yeah, I like because he does them quick and he does them. They're not museum pieces, and I hope he doesn't take this the wrong way. They're good stuff, but they're solid and they're together and they're not going anywhere and it looks good. They're made to be used.
Yes.
is a good
and
thing.
They look pretty.
Yes.
This past Monday, I'm like, oh wow, this.
Yeah, it's like
more than just pieces.
I thought it was a new. Yeah, I thought it was a new piece. Like, where'd we get all that? He goes, no, we had that. He just redid it. And I'm like, oh, it's like painting your car a different color. It's new. We're also going to be doing some streams. I'm going to talk to John tomorrow. Might be doing some one-shot streams, role-playing one-shot, RPG one-shot streams, using different systems like Savage World, probably Call of Cthulhu. This new Warhammer when you decide to do it, Nate. Just you don't know yet. Your name's on here. You just don't know yet.
I'm down with that.
We also have In Response, which is doing Magic. They use Magic Arena. It's Ross, which unfortunately had to cancel tonight. So, Ross, if you're out there, no, I'm kidding. He's usually has some fun.
Magic. I'm not familiar with
Magic Arena is not Magic Online.
Oh, okay.
So you sign in. It's like playing here, but it's all digital. And you can buy packs and
so you have to buy the cards online. And
yes.
Do they cost as much as the cards do in real life?
Well, you don't actually have to pay anything.
Oh.
You can, yeah.
It's free to play.
Just ways to earn money in the game.
All right. So if you want good cards, you have to pay.
So like me, I wouldn't have time to sit there and earn all that. I would be like, here's $20. Give me a couple packs and let's get out of here. Gotcha. So, but yeah, so that's how they make their money, if you're asking. What I like about Arena people like, people that always say, oh, nobody's going to come in and they're going to all play online. No, they're not. You don't want to sit at home. And then how much do you really want to spend on a video game, which I You will spend
Depends
some
on
money
who
on
asks.
you will spend money on a video game and you will have that stuff, but when you know you can go to a local game store and say, oh, I can actually own this set of cards, and then it's, oh, now I have them, this is
Yes.
cool, and then you can actually play
And
with
you have
other
a community
people.
to play
Yeah,
with.
you can go back forth, and then a lot of guys play online here and play online at home and go.
Magic's actually putting codes in their packs.
Oh, are they?
To redeem things at Arena, so.
Oh, so Magic is putting codes in their packs to redeem. So so it's working together. So
Yeah.
it's fine with me. Hey, because the more players you get online, eventually they come out and they play. And then if you're playing here, you go home and practice on Arena, and then you come back and I need this card, I need that card, and whatever. It's fine. The more players you generate, the more customers you have, the more opponents you can find. And well, my part is more customers, because you gotta keep the lights on, right? Joe Warner. This guy, he's very good at tutorials and he's very good at speculations. Like he kind of amazed me. He goes, "Oh, that card's going to go up." I go, "That's a dime card." And the next thing I know, it's a $20 card. So he's very good. He writes baseball statistics.
Yeah, author,
He's
yeah.
a
He's a statistician.
yes, he's an author. He actually has
Got like 6 books out.
he's got 6 different books out on statics for baseball and everything like that. So he
Really?
just transferred it here.
Yeah.
And he's actually pretty good. He'll talk, and I just kind of glaze over. 'Cause I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
I know exactly. I have a friend
But
who's
all of a sudden,
the
he's
same way.
like there, and he's very interesting. He's on there, so he's a lot of fun. So look out for him. 40K stream Monday nights. 40K. We actually
Yes.
we're getting more like the actual opponents and a lot more talking, and you can always watch the games and
Yes.
see
And
them.
always come up here if you're a new player.
Oh
old
yeah,
player,
yeah. If
come
you
on
want to
up.
learn or
You will be hard pressed to not find an opponent, especially if you just go onto the Immortals Inc. 40K page and just say, "Hey, I want to come up on a Monday. Is anybody available to play against me?" We will. This community here is fantastic. We will find somebody,
or
to
just
play.
or just walk in.
Yeah, or just walk in. We will
And
find somebody
That's,
to play.
that's our big thing is we will teach you. That an expensive hobby to get into. We will teach you
Yes.
before you spend a dime. See if you even like this or this
Yes.
is what you want. I had a customer, not to draw this out anymore, but I had a customer come in not too long ago, and he was like, "I really want to get into painting. My wife wants to play a game, but I think she wants to paint. I want to play." And he does painting. I said, "All right, well, have you ever played this?" No. And I was hard pressed to listen. He's like, "What about this big box set?" And I'm like talking this guy out of the box set. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Why don't you start with this $30 box set and we'll see.
Right.
Just that way you're not invested. It comes with the paint and everything. He goes, okay. 2 days later, he came in and bought the big box sets, and he's like, "Oh, all right." So yeah. It's like
Dark Imperium or whatever.
I don't want to ever have anybody put money into something they don't know if they don't like, and then
Right.
regret it. It's like.
And then have to sell it back to you.
Yeah, because what am I gonna do? I can only buy so much, But yeah, 40K stream. That's check them guys out. Chainsword Diaries. They're always up here, pushing it out and having a lot of fun. Then there's this podcast. We're gonna start going out. I got a couple scheduled already. My Immortals Inc. podcast. So we also have. Do you have an Xbox? You on Twitch?
PlayStation 4. Yeah.
So disappointed. So anyway, if you want to have some fun, go on our Twitch account. Like if you see on Facebook, have you seen on our Facebook it says Bullet Sponge now?
Yes.
If you want to hear a bunch of old guys trying to play Blackout or video games and hear them whine and moan and cough and found old, that's us. We're on there. I got my brother, a couple guys from more work, just going crazy. How not to play video games versus, hey, we can do this tactically, and then all of a sudden you got a bunch of kids running around. Yeah. So we plan on having more stuff like that and different people playing on there. So we are.
If you ever want to feel old, hang around some young children playing Fortnite.
No, I refuse to get on Fortnite.
The language. I'm not swearing or anything. Just the language they use. I
No.
don't even think it's English.
I don't even want to put myself in that situation.
Yeah,
I'm happy with who I got, and it's a lot of fun. But we're starting to do that, so that's going on. And that's about
tables.
the table. So you'd probably enjoy this. I'm talking to a guy right now. I got a guy.
You got it. Oh,
So we might rent another room. We might add to our store with a private gaming area with a ultimate gaming table.
ooh,
And it will have a kitchen. It'll have a small area. It'll be private, like
storage area too.
no storage yet. Maybe. I don't know. It's an idea. Yeah, we're still working on it, but it would be a private gaming room that you could rent for like your session, like 5-hour sessions at a pop, and then you'd have your own room, kitchen area, blah blah blah, and everything like that.
That is a great idea.
It is. But I'm talking to this guy right now, so he's probably gonna help me out with it. And we're gonna go with it. Hopefully, it'll be fun, and then people would be able to rent it, and you would have your own space, and then. We might even move it to the point where you could, instead of gaming out here, we'd actually improve our camera system, and you would actually have like a real role-playing session or board gaming session with cameras and
A studio gaming.
a studio gaming. I mean, we'll keep this. I like this. This is
yeah.
me. I enjoy my backdrops and my pops or my wife's pops, and just something fun to do. But for now, we got all that going on. Well, thanks again for coming, Nate.
Anytime.
We'll get back on this, and thanks everybody for listening. If you're out there. If you like our stuff, come to our store. Go to our site on immortalsinconline.com. Facebook is Immortals Inc. Twitch is Immortals Inc. What else are we on? Instagram and Twitter. Patreon. Yeah, just type in Immortals Inc. Whatever you go to, and we'll probably pop up. If we don't, let us know, and we'll find out how we get on there. Yeah, and if you want to give us a call at the store and just ask to find us, because we're still in the basement.
Still the dungeon. The Fungin.
Yeah, the Fungin. That doesn't even sound right. 216-712-7169. And thanks again for coming or listening. We'll see you later. Bye.